Hey there, happy Friday, Faith Over Fear. My name is Jake Hoffman. I'm one of the field development advisors here at Corporate. And I just want to take a couple of minutes to jump on the page today and just share a different perspective that hopefully will get you all thinking about your business in just a little bit of a different way. So before I do that, I just kind of want to explain the purpose of this. So really over the last year and a half, you've really seen corporate talk all about silvers, right? Developing silvers. And the reason for that is because it's the number one key contributor to growing your business, right? And so at the beginning of 2019, we really made that a focus of all of our incentives, our contests, our promotions. You've probably heard it a ton from myself and people at corporate. I'm sure you've heard it a ton from your uplines, right? And it's because it's important, right? But we realized through the course of 2019 that there were a lot of teams out there that lacked some of the systems to keep that duplication going. Because a lot of times, you've got that influence over the people that you're signing and even sometimes over the friends that they sign. But as your business starts to get deeper, you start to lose a lot of that, that influence over them, right? Because they don't know you. And so it becomes harder and harder to get people to silver with just your own skill sets. And I think that's where you need a system where new people can come in and kind of plug in and get those people to silver and make it kind of all happen, right? So anyways, most of you know this, right? But what I want to do is I kind of want to explain how emeralds and diamonds get to their ranks, because I think there's this misconception out there in the field that to get to emerald or diamond that you've got to be able to recruit hundreds of people and then get tons and tons of people running with the business. And that's truly just not the case. And I'm privy to that information, fortunately, because I've gotten to, sit in this role for, 4 years and kind of have this bird's eye view over every ambassador's business. But you guys only get to see the way that your business is formed. And I think that that's where there's been a huge disconnect. And so I just want to share with you, I've printed out a Diamond Ambassador's business because I've tried to use different ways to kind of share this message, right? I talked about Moneyball, which related to baseball. I mean, I've tried so many different methods. But I've found that over the last, 4 to 5 weeks, that this has probably been the single best method to kind of change the way people are thinking about their business and how to get there. So what I've done is I blocked off all the names, so that way you won't know whose diamond business this is, because I think that's, I'm not going to share that type of information. But right here, I just printed it out. I've been sending this email to people. Right here where it says name 1, name 2, name 3, this is normally where it would have the leaders' names, right? So, for example, it would have, Tammy, Kathy, Rosemary, some of the different leaders on the team. And then over here it has how many active level 1s each leader has, right? So this is just how many people they've got buying $100 of volume, right? This is not business builders. This is just how many level 1s they have that are purchasing $100 in PV. So what I want you to see here is that the number one recruiter, I didn't take into account this was going to be backwards, so hopefully you can see this. But the number one recruiter on this Diamond Ambassadors team has 30 active level 1s, which is a lot, right? But it's not some crazy number that's unattainable like 100 or 200, right? And keep in mind, this person is a diamond. And again, I want to share with you, so at the very bottom of this, the reason that I'm trying to make all this make sense is that this diamond, and this is a diamond with over 6,000 points, so she has a re-entry account, just keep that in mind, but she has 1,561 people that are ordering every month, right? And that's how she's getting all of her points. But I wanted you to kind of see where all of these different people came from, because truly, if you just look again, yeah, she's got a couple people with 30 and 25, but there are only 6 people in this entire business that have 20 or more active level 1s. And I think that's eye-opening, right? And then if you keep scrolling down, right down here to 37 it is? Yep, 37. There's only 37 people with 10 or more, right? So again, this is hopefully eye-opening to you guys. And then we keep scrolling down here, right? And when you get right here to name number 99, actually, that's where there's a drop-off from 4 active level 1s to 3. So from name 100 all the way to name 577, because that's how many people there are on this team with at least 1 active level 1. Sorry, I'm getting my papers confused here. But from name 100 to name 577, they all have 3 or less active level 1s. And from name 148 down, right, we just said name 100, but from name 148 they only have 2 or 1 active level ones, right? So there it is. I'm just showing you this as the proof, right? So from the reason that I'm saying this, right, is that this is the proof. This is the actual just proof out there that it's about getting a lot of people to do a little bit and getting them to silver, right? Because sometimes that might just sound good to people, right? Like, oh yeah, get them silver, of course, that sounds good, right? But no, this is truly the way it's done. And not everybody on there, a lot of them probably got to silver and didn't hold it after that. That's okay. Not all of them are truly wanting to work a business. But I think that's the key, right? Is we've got to have that mindset shift that every wholesaler should go silver, even if they don't want to work the business, because you could easily make the argument here that most of the people are not working the business. And 2/3 of all of the people that this diamond is getting her points from is coming from a sponsor that you could easily say is not working the business. And so if all this diamond cared about was her business builders, she would only have 1/3 of her points, which would still be a good amount of points, right? I mean, because she'd still have 2,000 points because she's got it for 6,000. But the point being is that 2/3 of her entire business are coming from people that aren't working it, right? But they shared with someone. And so that's important to think about. And that's where, again, these sampling groups, these trial groups, they do a great job of helping a new person come in and duplicate, because it doesn't feel like they're working a business. They're not asking you to spend a lot of money before you see if you like the products. And so I just want to share this to kind of help build the value in doing and having people share samples and in trial or sample groups. Obviously, you still have to have that conversation to kind of get them to share with the next set of friends. But I want you to see the value in that, even if they don't want to work the business. And so now we've got to ask the question, well, how do we get more people doing this, right? And just something to think about is, again, 577 people on this Diamonds team have gotten at least one person. But I don't know this for sure, but I would guess that most of them are not out there taking pictures with the pink drink saying, hey, you should order Plexus. But that doesn't mean they aren't making Facebook posts or talking about things that couldn't lead to Plexus. So for example, plenty of these people, again, like we just said, don't want to work a business. So they're not going to want to go out there and market and advertise the products. But they might be willing to talk about the problem as opposed to the solution, right? The products are the solution to the problems. But there are a lot of people out there that don't even know about the problems, right, that the products can fix. And so if you can get them sharing about, that, it's easier to get more people involved in a movement or a cause as opposed to just selling the product. So for example, right, I might love your products and I might be like, hey, I'm going to take 13 or 14 of these Plexus products, but you know what? I don't want my network judging me and stuff like that. Fair enough, okay? Not everyone's going to want to do this. And I think we have to be able to find ways to support them and getting their products paid for if they don't want to do that. Because as we can see here, that's the formula to getting to Emerald or Diamond. And so the idea is, can you talk about, and it could be anything, but I think that nutrition and health and stuff like that kind of fits our products very well, but you could use business. But, if you can get out there and create a movement around, how bad our nutrition is or how much sugar is in our diets or, how gut health is really important to your overall health, people might be willing to make those posts or talk about that without there being a product related to that. And then when someone asks them, they're like, hey, so what do you do to be healthy? They're like, well, I work out every day. These are my workouts. I eat really healthy. This is what my diet looks like. I take these supplements and it's Plexus, right? But that's now how you can get them indirectly working a Plexus business, right? And presenting and talking about Plexus because someone else is asking them what they do to treat the problem or to support their problem, right? And Plexus is one of the answers. And they feel comfortable saying that because they're not just out there promoting it and selling it and whatever. They're, so anyways, I hope, now I'm just rambling, but I hope that kind of makes sense, right? Build value in not just the solution, but also the problems, because I think people are going to be more open to sharing about those. But yeah, and hopefully this gave you a new way to look at things. So number one, hopefully, because I believe in this business, you need 3 things. You've got to have belief, you got to have a strategy, and you got to have tactics. And I don't mean tactics as like a shady thing. I just mean like strategy is like the math equation, right? If you want to grow by 100 points, you're going to need 20 people, ideally like 5 silvers, right? That's your strategy. But how do you make that happen? And I think that trial groups and sampling are kind of more of your tactics, right? But I think that you need belief to make any of this happen. And so hopefully by sharing this can give you that belief that if you implement the strategy and you utilize the tactics, that you can be an emerald or a diamond as well. Because it's not about recruiting, 100 people. Now, of course, if you do that, the chances of someone sharing are going to be much higher, right? And so you've got, no doubt, the more people you enroll, the more likely you are to get there, right? But I just want to share this because if you're not someone that's super savvy on social media, if you're not an extrovert, or you're not someone out there that recruits 10 people a month, I want you to know that you can get there too. It just requires you to have to, get into the systems and whatnot. And keep in mind that even if you are a great recruiter, you can't recruit your way to emerald or diamond. You just can't. The number one recruiter in all of Plexus, I won't say who it is, but she averages between about 90 and 100 active level 1s each month. This is the number one person. She's a diamond, but what I want you to think about is that without the rest of her team, in her best month, she's a ruby, right? Because 100 active level 1s, 5 points apiece, that puts you at ruby. That's in her best month. So it takes the team to get you to diamond. So you have to do this if you want to get to emerald or diamond. But you don't have to get 100 active level 1s to get to emerald or diamond. So I hope what I just kind of said makes sense, that if you're going to truly emphasize one, obviously you really need both, because I think one of the mistakes that we see out there is that some people focus only on the recruiting aspect and they never help a team, and then they run out of their warm market, and now they're trying to both influence a cold market in terms of joining, but also trying to influence those new people, or the people that join them to go silver. So the point that I'm making is they're trying to do two new skill sets in the business for the first time. That can be a challenge. So that's why we want new people coming in when they're recruiting to also be thinking about that duplication, so that they're doing both. Because then if you don't, what you find happening is either A, you're on this side of the spectrum where you're just recruiting and not helping anyone, or B, you get over here into management mode where you're not recruiting at all, and there's no new growth or no new bodies coming in, and that's not ideal either. You want to be kind of somewhere in the middle. So yeah, that was really what I wanted to share with you guys. This has been really eye-opening for some different teams when I've shared this, and so I just wanted to get on here and share it with you in the hopes that it just gives you a different perspective about the business. Sorry, I'm losing my voice here. So anyways, that's all I've got for you guys. I hope you all have an awesome weekend, but really implement the idea of handing out samples. It's much, much easier for a new person that you just introduced to Plexus to turn around and hand a sample to their friends. So even if you can get them to join with a welcome pack today, if you're like, oh, I think I could upsell them, or I think I could really get them to go if I say all the right things, don't stress yourself out about that. Like, try to get them in with a sample. If they like the products and they do want to be on these products, whether you get them on a welcome pack or not right away, they will continue to order if this is truly something that helps them. So I think taking that route that produces the easiest duplication is going to be ideal for you guys. And again, if you bring me in a non-aggressive, non-salesy way, much easier for me to turn around and bring my friends in that non-aggressive, non-salesy way. And especially if you're building up about the problems, because then it's easier for me to find value in a solution, right? I think that's the last thing I'll say, right, is that, I feel like if you are aware of the problems, it makes presenting Plexus a million times easier, right? Because it's like, oh, well, yeah, that should hopefully fix my problem, or at least I'm willing to give it 60 days to try to see if it will, right? But I think we need more people aware of some of the problems, right? Not everyone knows about gut health and a lot of the other things, but I got to stay compliant. So that's all I got. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys hopefully soon. We got an event coming in Indiana soon, right? Some sip-in shares. So I'll see you all soon. Bye.